привет, вы заглянули Китти-Китса. Это Вампир, мы продолжаем. Я сразу записываю серию после прежней. Ну сейчас, ну подожди. Я тут все смотрю. Я бы тут побегала на самом деле. Давай, говори.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions first. If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Ну мы сначала побегаем. Думаю, это серия просто исследований в больнице.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
Как мило.
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Спасибо, женщина, спасибо. Я сейчас туда не пойду, я побегаю. Здесь только что были. Кому? Что тут? Ничего, никого. Я сейчас побегаю здесь, пожалуй, немножко. Плакатик. Инфлюенция часто сопровождается пневмонией. Чтобы предотвратить распространение испанского гриппа, не выходите на улицу. Жесть, конечно. Закрыто?
It's locked.
Ясно. Я туда сейчас не пойду. Я хочу побегать, осмотреться. В само здание мы сейчас не пойдем.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
В смысле? Рычание скалей в саду. Типа здесь. Угу. Сожрем мышку. Я сейчас сменю оружие. палится. Меня-то как-то больше устраивает. Я б туда украдкой не ходила, на самом деле, пока. Нет, я туда сейчас не пойду. 12 уровень, вашу ж мать, я на 4-м. Вы чё? Не-не-не, так не пойдет, нет. Не-не. Я туда не пойду. Не рискну. Крыска. Крыска. Что это? Деньги, шиллинги. Да, мы будем жрать все подряд, если не людей. Я забыла, где больница. Там? Там. Что там? Я бы сходила здесь, осмотрелась, на самом деле, перед тем, как идти в больницу. Карантин, инфлюенса на территории не захотеть расположение санитарного инспектора из комнаты здравоохранения. Ой, какие мы нервные. Ой-ой-ой, какие мы нежные. Смотри-ка. Воу-воу-воу-воу-воу-воу! Вау, как жестко. Что-то зря я туда пошла, чувствую, надо в больницу идти. Ого, где хоть я буду-то? Ой. Мне палиться не нравится. Дайте мне мою штуку, и я буду вообще счастлива. Типа. Тут мы. Вампирская больница, состояние здоровое. А, это главный код в больницу, я поняла. Здесь вроде ничего такого нет. А, или это... Это что вообще? Воу-воу-воу, жесть! Жесть. Это было неприятно. Мне не понравилось. Чё это было, пошёл? Не-не-не, мне надо восстановиться. Это жестко. Серьезно, жесть. Мне бы сейчас крови выпить, на самом деле. Пойду скали этих урою. Воу, жесть, 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 жесть. Жесть, жесть. Валим, 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 валим. Ну иди, мужик, уйди, я тебя боюсь. Просто беги в больницу. Ты сюда пойдешь? Просто умри, мужик. Умри, 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 пожалуйста, умри, умри. Господи, это было так страшно. Ага, фотография улыбающейся парочки, набрать несколько слов Милзан и Пипа навсегда. Откройте расследование. Слушайте, а можно мне записки? Ничего. А, ну это фотография бумажника, это мы видели. Не-не-не, мне и так плохо. Сейчас бы просто пойти в больницу. Просто пойти в больницу, никого не трогать. Вот серьезно, сейчас бы никого не трогать, просто пойти в больницу, подлечиться. И потом уже пойти... О, это было жестко, серьезно. Я испугалась, я так испугалась. Хочу пообщаться с этим левым мужиком. Мы с тобой не знакомы. А, это тот мужик. Ясно. Есть что поболтать.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Вот.
Why does Dr. Tippett claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Миленько.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Господи. Что здесь? Здесь ничего нет. Привет, мужик. Что скажешь?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing in. I escaped from the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital. That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Какой заботливый.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending
Какой ты
yourself.
популярный.
You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way,
Ну,
Doctor.
вообще, наверное,
I
он
offer
просто
them
правду
another way to
говорит.
protect their health.
В Лондоне задать личные вопросы. Какой ты засекреченный
I
мужик.
have some good news, Milton.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet with all the money and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin colour that bothers you?
Нет, мужик, я, возможно, слишком толерантна,
Take this money
чтобы о
anyway.
таком
To remind
беспокоиться.
you to keep your mouth shut.
Ну,
Not
это Джон,
everyone is as
наверное.
broad-minded as you, Dr. Reed.
О жизни в Лондоне ничего, задать личные вопросы.
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all those corpses piling up. She's just depressed.
Так поняла, нам от одного к другому придется бегать.
During the war, I witnessed a few couples just like you come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right. But we support each other. And that's all that matters.
You do realize you could both get fired. Hospital staff are not meant to have intimate relationships with one another.
Come on, Dr. Reed. Do you know how many rules are broken in this hospital every day just to keep it running? There's nothing wrong with what we're doing.
Согласна.
I'd like
Давайте
to see
посмотрим,
your
что он продает.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Угу. Часть обычной рукояти. Часть обычного механизма. Алюминиевый порошок из полок, масло, винт. Я вот так, наверное, поступила. Все, пока, мужик. Пока. Что тут есть, что тут нет, рассказывайте. Опа, 2 медсестрички. Что скажешь?
Good evening, Nurse Brennan.
Good evening, Doctor.
От нее мы вообще ничего не дождемся, да?
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Вот ты ничего не скажешь?
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Goodbye, Dr. Tibbets.
Ба, доктор Типс. Везде такие палатки, это на самом деле летущие. Ну, здесь мы сюда еще подойдем, я так понимаю. Нам бы уже подниматься и покачаться чуть-чуть. Но с этим потом. Нет, это баба в очках. Ее мы не трогаем. Мы ее уже задрючили, так что вах.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Поболтаем?
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
У них там, наверное, с таблетками проблема. Возьмите
You
себя в
must
руки.
get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
Наверное, ее можно понять. Ну да, ее можно, в принципе, понять.
How long have you been a nurse?
Or long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't
Да, конечно, нет, не извиним. Ты что, мы всех убьем? Вы правы.
You're right. When dealing with such a terrible disease, one must remain humble. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try our best.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Pepper, I know you're very close to Milton Hooks.
Yes? Milton Hooks is my man. If you want to report me for that,
Отчаянная
just
женщина.
feel free, Doctor.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins. But are you aware of the risks?
Кстати,
The
вот
rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the risk?
Hey, I'm no perfect woman, and Milton is not the finest bloke, but we do our best to get by. That's all any of us can hope for nowadays.
знаете, вот я играю во все это и посоветую вам посмотреть «Аббатство Даунтон». Я посмотрела сезона 2, наверное. Мне понравилось. И вот я во все это играю. И так напоминает. Не знаю почему просто. Какие все тут
Goodbye,
загадочные.
Nurse Hawkins.
Ой. Женщина какая-то. Пошли поболтаем.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
Какая добрая девушка.
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you
У
met Thelma
нее
Hellcroft.
болезнь,
You keep
да,
calling me
психическая.
mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow
Да, у
shell
него
of flesh.
болезнь.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Ugh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Please, describe to me how you feel.
Я бы ее убила, она
What is it like
бесполезная.
to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover to hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal, but do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require?
Да, хочу.
Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it's such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of
Мне бы
unholy
интересно было
life
посмотреть на
have
нашего
strained
вампира
one's
через
life.
сотни лет. Может, выйдет когда-нибудь такой DLC или типа того. Классно было бы.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Ух, как саркастичный мужик, прям, серьезно. Какой у тебя толк, ты мне не нужен. Мужик сидит, давай поболтаем с мужиком.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some
Такой
way, Dr.
отстраненный.
Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm behind
Ха,
what we need here are reliable professionals.
Да
not
пошел ты,
overrated dabblers.
мудак.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me.
Чё-то мне кажется, что он
I
реально
haven't
мудак.
wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital instead of a
Да
burden.
пошел ты, мудак.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run
Консерватор,
medical
что ли?
experiments.
Или как-то так это называется.
Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you
Его
to
можно
admit
понять
you
на самом
used
деле.
those men to improve
Можно.
your theories.
Все люди чего-то боятся.
I don't see any reason why I should justify my actions to you.
That's true, Dr. Reed. The only judge has
Я
to
бы
be yourself.
пояснила, на
The
самом деле.
question is, are you judging yourself
Но
harder?
я не доктор-вампир. Так что да.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
Несмотря на то, что он мудак, он мне нравится. Серьезно.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Мудак, но в принципе разумный. Что скажешь?
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Thank you,
Толку от
Nurse.
тебя. Меньше, чем от козла молока.
How could we be sure we're making a difference? Good evening, sir.
Здорово.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune.
Какой подхалим!
And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland.
Господи!
I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Такой... Я знаю, кого мы убьем, ребят.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories at first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
Знаете, вот такие люди обычно и крадут всякие открытия, эксперименты. Такой...
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Мудила.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Тебе уже не смешно.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to
Как бы нет, но как бы сходил уж, пожалуйста, мужик, да?
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Ну, тактичность не порок, ну.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Не сказала бы.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
Докторов я пока убивать не буду.
To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. but that does not excuse Dr. Aykroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones
Здесь я
and
с ним
flesh.
согласна. Серьезно.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Пока, Стрикленд. Эти двое здесь что-то сидят. Наверное, нам на этом стоит закончить. Хотя нет, пусть уж серия получится длинной.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Мы сейчас обо всех узнаем, а потом еще раз по всем пройдемся в следующей серии.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing.
Ну или через серию.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, you see.
Гордыня бич
I
народа.
often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies.
Мы сейчас сразу пойдем наверх.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself.
Я бы не стала оставлять его.
What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick, unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target.
Какой ты
My wife was
везучий.
bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
Goodbye for
Какой
now,
тебя
Mr. Fiddick.
мужик.
I'll see you later.
Записка. Пемброкская больница, 2 ноября. Милые мои дети. Наоборот. Извините за то, что не писал вам раньше, но мне чертовски больно нацарапать даже пару слов на этой проклятой бумаге. Не бойтесь, как только врачи вылечат папину руку, он сразу выйдет из больницы. А пока, если вам что-то понадобится, пойдите на стройку и скажите мистеру Чедвику, что вы дети Харви Фиддика. Вы Роберта Чедвика помните? Роберта Чедвика, помните? Большого усатого мужчину, который прошлой весной помогал мне чинить двери. Разыщите его, попросите несколько монет, он вам не откажет. Мне жаль, что я пока не могу работать. Но когда я выйду, мы что-нибудь придумаем. Не волнуйтесь, как только папина рука снова станет сильной, все будет хорошо. Как только врачи починят мою руку, я... Ну да. Многих это бы, наверное, взяло за душу. Давай побазарим.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound troubles you so much.
I cannot give up on my children now. They both need me living.
What about their mother, if I may ask?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids. We never found her body.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
Пока, Фидик. Ладно, на этом мы закончим. Хотя нет, не закончим. Зайдем еще сюда.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived.
Зато честно.
But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Не такой уж она и ангел.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Пока, миссис Госвик.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'll let you get some rest then.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell.
У меня бабушка такая же.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Женщину можно понять.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, But rest assured, you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed.
А вот это уже
It's my
хреново.
mother.
Не надо так.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
Ну ладно, не будем его мучить.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Goodbye,
Пока.
Mrs. Goswick.
Пустите и дайте мне камеру, спасибо. Я бы сейчас, конечно, свалила отсюда. Ну, это везде так написано. А где в этом мире лестница какая-нибудь? Мы не будем ни к кому сейчас подходить. Я нашла лестницу, поздравьте. Не-не-не-не, все наверх, наверх, наверх.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin. William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now.
Во, много. Джонатан, я попросил сестру Крейн подготовить для вас кабинет на втором этаже. К сожалению, я не могу проводить. Мне нужно немного поспать перед работой. Я всего лишь простой смертный. Заранее прошу прощения за скромную обстановку. Пемберская больница далеко не Риц. Я распорядился, чтобы к вам никто никогда не заходил. Поэтому спокойно спите днем, работайте по ночам, если вам угодно. Здесь нет лаборатории, но вы можете проводить эксперименты у себя. Кроме того, в кабинете есть окно, за ним строительный сад, которое позволит вам незаметно уходить и возвращаться. Как же тяжело читать. Должно быть, сейчас вам все кажется непривычным и пугающим. Я долго изучал представителей вашего рода и понимаю, что вы сейчас чувствуете. Можете рассчитывать на мою помощь. Я рад, что познакомился с вами. В это тяжелое время, надеюсь, наше сотрудничество принесет блестящие результаты. Добро пожаловать в Пемберскую больницу. Уважаемый коллега, скоро мы еще побеседуем. Искренне ваш Эдгар Гриффит Сонси. Прикладывайте копию своих записок о том, что я в последний год хотел не только спуститься. Что у нас нет, интересно? Нет? Цветочек.
It needs water.
Какой же он красивый. Я бы... когти. Как и многих других хищников, природа наградила вампиров когтями вместо ногтей. Это естественное оружие легко взрывается ткани и быстро рассекает артерии жертвы, выпуская когти. Можете в свете, как мягкое нежное мясо. Итак, всем пока, с вами была Kitty Kids. Еще увидимся. Пока-пока. Стоп, подожди. Я хотел... Белый халат. Вот красивый, господи, как он классный. Я сейчас, подождите. Подождите. Какое... Я бы сюда еще и пилу. Красота. Укус, когти. У меня 6-й уровень. Ага. Томление. Записуня. Ладно, давайте мы ее почитаем. Ай, нет, давайте почитаем. Сейчас я уже забуду. Это редкая возможность, даже привилегия, сблизиться с вампирами и наблюдать за их физиологическими и психологическими особенностями с научной и рациональной точки зрения. Вот некоторые из удивительных способностей, которые я наблюдал за последние 10 лет в ходе общения с вампирами или эконами, как они себя называют. Сверхъестественная скорость. Вампир даже под действием двигаться так же, как смертный, но опасный глаз. Подметить, что эти чувства у них обостренные, грозные. Давайте вы сами почитайте. Как он? А я не могу двигать. Давайте я сделаю парочку сывороток. Средство от переутомления. Раствор какой-то. Ничего мы сделать не можем, толку от нас. Ну-ка, подождите, F. Ничего у нас нет. На этом мы закончим. С вами была Kitty Kids. Еще увидимся. Пока-пока.